Yes, I can start with that with this
No, okay, so maybe not. What I was thinking is that usually when I used to play this a lot, I would we'd come from the G minor seven part to the C part, and a lot of times for that D that he would pound on, nah, never mind, don't want it. I used to play the if you're playing if you want a real D chord in the double drop D tuning, you have to add the F sharp on the first string,
yeah.
and I think I used to like to do that in there was play to make it different from this, which sounds very minor. That whole run sounds minor because of the F natural that we play in the melody, right?
Yep.
And so I think I used to come back to that D chord and just add the F sharp on the fourth fret
Yeah.
for it to be the real D, which now when I listen to that I think, oh no, we don't want that. We want that pounding on the D to still just be the D power chord or a D5. We want no third in that chord.
Right.
You know. So oh boy, I forgot about that. Absolutely nothing wrong with doing it with those fingers. What I was thinking a second ago was that with your second finger down, after you've done the hammer on with your second finger, then your third finger, you don't have as much control of your third finger moving to those notes
Mhm.
as you would if you were here that you would with your second finger. Your second finger just has better range of motion and stuff. But after you hammer on that note, when you go to the F in the bass, you don't want this note on anymore.
Right.
You want that string open because that's the next note, right? So really, that probably is certainly not a bad idea. It might even be a better idea because you're kind of making better use of a weaker finger, using your fourth finger for stuff that So anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, when I get this rolling, so one thing that I found was when I tried it the other way, I usually I usually forgot to take this off for whatever reason. I don't know why that is, but the I don't know.
yeah,
Anyway, so that's how I ended up doing
no. So I think there's that totally fine.
it. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah.
Um,
And how's the G minor seven chord coming? Can you get to that pretty well?
yeah, when I sometimes I can. So G minor seventh. The thing there is making sure that I get the full reach up here.
Not too
Um,
far. Wrong fret.
yep, there we
Yeah.
go. Yeah, is I mean I could yeah. See the there's no two. There's no second beat.
Right.
Right. Let's see.
Hang on.
It's
So you did 3-2. Try
yeah
again. Try it again.
yeah.
And
I think
really, when you're on that D chord, really try to make that was pretty good. Yeah, you just need to work on that change a little bit. Just got to get more reps on it so that
yeah yeah
it's a little less um, stressful. It's kind of like you can see you're going to that chord and it's like, oh, I almost got it.
yeah
So another thousand times on just those changes, and you could practice that like without the strum, just your hand going from G minor seven to C, and you could do like 10 of those in 15 seconds if you just hit each one once, and now get to C and then go back.
yeah.
Right. So, that's a really important general technique of just isolating hard moves when like you don't need to strum the two measures of the G minor 7 to practice going to the C.
Right.
That's what I mean. In those 8 beats, you could have done that 8 times. You know, just
Uh,
so isolate the left hand.
I, I, I did find when I was doing this that I was most successful on the change when I remembered, or when I basically was out of the C on the last up.
Yeah,
I got way ahead of it, or got far enough.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
so
and so two quick things because I was also just I'll come back to that in just a second. Or actually, one quick thing to interrupt it. When you're doing that pounding on the D chord after the
yeah.
G minors and Cs, make sure to get a lot of use out of the sixth string. Make sure you're really belting the snot out of the sixth string so that we're hearing that bass note just shake the room.
Okay. So when you're there, then are you
Yeah,
are you basically strumming it as a
yeah. Like it couldn't hurt to hit it really hard on the first beat. So if I here would might be my last G minor 7. Now I want to hear something like this. See, most of those were on the bass notes,
yeah.
you know, to
Yeah.
really just pound it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Then you got to change gears right back into
Yeah.
that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Gotta. Yeah.
so the other thought on the G minors and the Cs are oh getting back to the D for the last second is when you come out of that last C, make sure to at least start with heavy bass on that D chord. You don't even need the notes down yet. You know, it's like on that first
Yeah.
beat, just pound down here, and then so take your time. Watch my left hand as I do this. You know, I'll even hit the bass twice, and I got all day to get that D chord on. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And along those same lines, with the G minor 7 and the C, you can really let go of that chord halfway through the measure before the change. Here too. I mean, the whole last 2 beats can
Yeah.
be open notes. Now, I was kind of overdoing it there, emphasizing that you're going to hear open strings in there,
Yeah.
but that could be a little more subtle. So you really can take a lot of time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There you
I see,
go.
yeah. I see where it's going there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool. Um, so I
Now.
think that's all in good shape.
Yeah. Um, so now this is a good mental test just to try to immediately shift into find the cost of freedom
Oh,
here.
wait. You know what? One more thing on Ohio.
Okay.
When you play the little run, after you've done the hammer on here on the A,
Yeah.
really stay on just the top 2 strings so that we hear the droning of the 2 Ds. So that you don't hear this note hitting, that you don't hear this. I see all, okay. So you
Yeah.
really want to hear this clearly. You want to hear those 3 notes solid like nothing else. And then just the 2 high strings for the last 3 eighth notes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And make sure you hear that third note after the hammer on. Make sure it doesn't get kind of blurry like this. I see. All you heard was strumming in there. You want to
Yeah.
hear this. That second string just as solid as the hammer on.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's okay.
And then you have. There you go. Perfect.
Am I trying to pick out the second one, or am
Yeah.
I just making sure that I hit it as part of the first?
No, you'd want to play it by itself and not have it
Okay.
sound like a strum. So
Okay.
that it sounds like you're only like that's all you're hitting.
Okay.
Or yeah, that just like that. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay. Um,
Okay.
cost of freedom. Yeah. Think about it. It's,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I gotta listen to it. It seems to me that we need one more thing in there. The biggest thing, first thing we need is just a little more strumming. Your hand is doing the exact right motion, like you're hitting all those notes exactly when you need to, and you're keeping the constant motion here. And now what we need is just a little bit more background noise during that motion. Hear how you're hearing this light thing up here the whole time? So every time you're letting a note ring, a melody note ring, and your hand's just moving in there, let that moving lightly hit particularly the top two strings.
right.
So that we got a little bit more harmony behind it.
Right. Right. Right.
Maybe a little slower too.
Okay. Okay.
That was the hammer on. Yeah. Right there, you should have the D chord back on. When you get back to that, when you hit that low D in the bass, have the rest of the chord back on because you have time in there for some droning strumming too.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Okay. Um,
And actually, one more thing before you try that.
Yeah.
When you get to the part where you when you get to the F in the bass. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there we go. Let me think about this. Here it is. When you get to the F in the bass,
Yep.
keep it on when you do the hammer on after it. The F has to ring until the E. Yeah. And I got this. I might have to listen to it to see this, but I think they don't hit the low D in the bass until like one beat later. When they come out of this, they end the last melody note, I think, should be the higher D. Because that's how the melody would go rather than this.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Okay.
and then you bring the low D in later as part of the strumming or the droning. See, because does that make sense? So when that happens,
Right.
do it all again from the beginning. Take it back from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, and keep your first finger on the whole time too. Your first finger has to stay on. Yeah, because it's been there.
Okay. I got lost where I was.
Yeah, yeah. Now get the chord back on right now. Now you need the rest of the D chord.
Oh.
Right, before you even do yeah, before you even do the last couple of notes, when you come out of this, when you hit that last D that I've just switched from the sixth string to the fourth, you need the chord like on right now, even when you do this, before you play those last couple of notes in there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. As they hit the wrong
That's
one.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Now then hit the open D, the middle D, and have the D chord on right now.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I see what we're supposed to do there. Yeah, that's gonna. Um, well, sort of part way.
Let me listen to this once because what I kind of hear, like as the musically logical thing to do, is not even get to the low D until later than that. That makes musical sense to me, to not have that low D until like the period, the end of the sentence. But let's listen to the studio version of this real quick.
Okay.
Now what they did, first of all, they're lower. They're tuned a whole step lower. I don't know, you could tell that, but they didn't. on that first time through, he didn't even bring in this. He came through the. So we didn't hear the little ba-dum-bum.
Yeah.
See if that happens the second time. So that time he did go straight to the low D. Okay, and now we have two guitars doing slightly different things, one in each channel. I don't know if I have that loud enough for you to be able to hear it when I'm playing it here, if it's coming through.
I can vaguely hear it. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, so the first time we hear one guitar just in the left channel, and then by the beginning of the second one, a second guitar is coming in, and they're messing with it kind of separately. Let's listen to the third time through. Let me see. I can turn this up a little bit. Okay, so what's happening now? Now we've got Stills in the left playing a lead, and Neil Young is probably in the right. That was the second guitar that came in, so we got to sort of tune out the lead. Okay, now right there, Neil did what the way I've been showing you. They have this. He did come in with the low D there, so. This is, there's a lot of improvising going on here, and this is not, carved in, written in stone that it has to go this way. And I guarantee that if we listen to a dozen different recordings of this, he's always just messing around. Like sometimes I didn't hear this a couple of times. Notice I cut out a few things, like I walk into the F.
Right.
Like so that was something else I heard in there. It's like the way we're kind of like breaking it down note for note here is almost an amalgamation or compilation of
right.
What everybody does one way or another. So so I guess I'm encouraging you to mess around with it and make it different every time.
Yeah, and just it just has to basically it all has to sync up, or it all has to resolve itself back to ultimately in this it has to
yeah
there.
So the phrase, which is like an 8-measure phrase or something, is always kind of intact from top to bottom. You're not going to hear something like this. I still did get back to the end when I should have, but it'd be a long stretch for somebody to listen to that and say, "Oh, you're just messing around with Find the Cost of Freedom," especially if I hadn't done the first measure with like exactly right.
Right.
So I was kind of just noodling, and that was way overdoing it for this song. That was like trying to turn it into, I don't know, a spectacle or something. This is a kind of a subtle. Anyway, beautiful tune. But so yeah, that's what I guess I really encourage you to mess around with it, just kind of within the parameters of what we have there.
Okay. Yeah, no, I see that. And then for you, why was it that you thought that this D made more musical sense at the end? For that reason, because it comes back to D?
Because I hear this as like that bom bom bom, that has to go up to D, up to the root or the tonic in this case of the key and the chord, and then the low one kind of can reinforce the whole thing as the like the last word.
Okay. I'm not expecting to hear anything else. That's it.
Right. It's like, okay, we finished this whole thing. It's been descending from this high D the whole time. It's like so it kind of worked its way down. It got down to here. Oh, partly that also. That's how they sing it. In the ground. They go up to D in the vocal part from those last 3 notes. In the ground. That would be the melody there. E, D, C, D. Right? So in the interest of kind of having the guitar set the stage for what we're about to hear vocally, that higher D makes more sense.
Yeah.
And then as a filler note, as to reinforce the harmony, this is not a note that any of them can sing anyway. You know, it's um, and they're not about to. That's not about to be part of a melody. That's down in the gravel pit. You know, where only Johnny Cash sings. You know, so.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
but anyway, so you know, I think in the interest of kind of um, reinforcing or mimicking the melody, the vocal melody, that's why the higher D works better there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So I've got, okay, so I got a good enough grip on that to just try and make that better.
Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
and the same with Ohio. So so going down this road then,
Okay, now we're down the double drop D road here.
yeah. Well, maybe, you know, if there um you sent a couple of things over
Oh
that
yeah.
of which Ohio and Find the Frog Cost of Freedom were two on the list. And there was, I think, one other Neil Youngton song that I'm actually not familiar with.
Oh, was
Um,
that Don't Let It Bring You Down? Oh no, or the Loner.
oh
I think.
no, don't let it bring you down. I'm very familiar
That
with
one
it.
you know, yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah,
probably the Loner that you didn't recognize.
yeah. So in the world of things that I'm going to recognize instantly, Neil Young, double drop D. What's another one?
I think Don't Let It Bring You Down would be a really fun one to work on because it doesn't have any of the intricate picking that we have in here. It just has some unusual chord shapes that work their way up and down the neck. Um, but oh, another did we talk about Harvest Moon at all?
No, I mean I know the song for sure.
Yeah, okay. It's not in. It's in just drop D. It doesn't have the high string down, but
Okay.
it had. But there was something else I was going to talk about before this. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Another Stills tune in this is Daylight Again. Let me listen to it once. You might recognize it because they usually do this. They do a medley of these.
That's an album.
Yeah, and oh yeah, okay. It is not as it's not quite as interesting because that's just it. This little intro is like 4 measures long, and then it's mostly vocal. Um, but they that's why they usually do these in a medley because well, like while they're in this tuning and they're doing these quiet songs with really nice harmony. Let me listen a little further to that though.
Following me to bed, I think about 100 years ago, how my fathers played.
Oh yeah, that's. Then it does get a little bit more into Stills kind of improvising around with this.
Yeah.
But let me listen to Don't Let It Bring You Down. Now this he usually does tuned lower as well. Yeah, he's tuned the whole stuff low. Now for this though, I do have a tab and everything because I put a whole lesson together. But it's really just mostly strumming. You know, it doesn't have any kind of intricate picking and things in there. But let me take a look at. Not there. Why does it want to sing here? Ah, there it is. Okay. Well, I guess I never did tab for this in the last. Yeah. Yeah, I think you'd have more fun doing Harvest Moon than either of those. But if you want to take a look at my lesson on Don't Let It Bring You Down, you go ahead. You know, and that wouldn't be too bad because Harvest Moon has some really cool things in it. Let me think about it. Yeah, so get that back up to E.
Okay.
But let me also email you.
Heard something rush out of the room.
Yeah, I just emailed you the tab to both Harvest Moon and Don't Let It Bring You Down, just to save you the trouble of going to the site.
Okay. Thank you.
Um, but what happens in and plus now I'm just looking at Harvest Moon to get it refreshed in my head. Oh yeah. That's cool. Okay, let me get you back up here. So, how would you play a D chord? So now, don't forget. So we don't have the top string messed up anymore. So like you know, if you're gonna play a D, it's gonna be a regular D like that. Where would you play a D chord as a bar chord out of the E family?
Out
Oh
of
wait,
the-
let me back up.
okay.
Okay. In this tuning, now that we've got the sixth string tuned down to D, the three lower strings are D, A, and D, which are all part of a D chord. So we could play different voicings of this D chord as long as we play the top three strings anywhere on the neck and still use the three bass strings for and strum the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay? So if we didn't have the D in well, like so where would we play a D chord out of the A family of bars?
Out of the A family. Okay. So A family where
Right. Okay.
yeah.
And now where would the bar go to go with that? Where would you have to put a bar for that to be a D chord?
um, out of the A family. So I would have to put that here.
Right. Okay. So put a bar there for a second, just temporarily. So full bar at the fifth.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what strings are you playing with your other finger? Which strings exactly are getting played right now?
Are getting played.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play this D,
Yeah.
and that's an A, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so this would be that's a D.
Okay. Good. And what do you, and but so you could also you could play really all the strings here because even on the second string, I mean you've moved your whole A family chord up to the fifth fret,
Right.
where you've got three notes at the seventh fret though,
Right.
right? And on the first string, if you were going to play, if the first string is coming out, it has to be in the bar. It has to be at the fifth fret. Um, so do you see that? Like right here, we've got three notes at the seventh fret, but those are the
Right.
fourth, third, and second strings.
Right.
And on the first string, the note we need is at the fifth fret.
You got the fifth.
Okay,
Right.
got it. Okay, so what we all we need though is now the top three strings of this. We only need notes. We don't need a bar. We just need the third, second, and first strings exactly where they are. So
Third. Oh, third, second.
and first, and all the rest can be open. So you just have to put three fingers down, two notes at the seventh, and one at the fifth. Close, 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 close.
Three at the.
No, you're good. No, no, two at the seventh, right? You only need two strings there. But then
Yeah.
the other one has to be at what fret?
Oh, it has to be here.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
Has to be a five.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now, strum, let's hear that. Yeah. Okay. And so that would be another standard way of playing a D chord in drop D tuning because you can now hit all six strings.
Okay. Okay, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what this really is a reduction of the A family of bar chords.
Okay.
Just use the top three strings because our bass notes are all part of our D chord already.
Right. Okay.
Okay, and right, you could move it there, and you've got an E. Well, if you go to the seventh fret, you're playing an E chord, but now you still have the bass notes for a D chord, right? So,
Right.
okay, to kind of open up a whole different door, before we get back to the song, um, sometimes I refer to these little shapes, these three string shapes, as just triads because that's all
Yeah.
they are. It's just one of each of the three notes you need to make a chord.
Right.
And this is the major shape out of the A family.
Okay.
And if you're only going to play those three strings, you could take this any place and play any chord. If you need to play a B flat or if you an E flat, it doesn't matter. You've just taken the other three strings off your guitar, the open strings. And so if somebody could be playing a song like Keep on Trying. What are the chords again in Keep on Trying? G and C, right? C first, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I could be playing somebody could be doing this. And I could be playing at my second guitar part, I could be playing three notes that are a C chord. I could take the shape you have right there and play it at the third fret, and it'd be C. And for it to be a G chord, I could take the top three strings of an E family chord right here, because G out of the E family would be at the third fret.
Yeah.
And so my reduction in the E family would look like this. It would be two notes at the third fret, a little bar at the third,
Yeah.
and then this next string at the fourth fret. Go with your second finger for that. Yeah, okay. So that would be my E family triad.
Okay.
And so if I did it, if the chords were C and G in my song, I could play the C here. So now this doesn't get me far away from the other guitar player. But it does get me a higher note on the C chord than they get. And then for the G chord, I could do this. Or I could have used you. Is that making sense? Click. Is this clicking a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But and then, or I could also, I could play further up the neck and get my C chord out of that family. Like, where would you have to take that out of the E family for it to become C?
Okay. I'd have to go up. Well, I have to go up a step. All right.
Well, wait.
The-
What was it? What was it just a minute ago?
It was a G.
And we're looking for C.
Oh, C. Oh, C. We have to go up. So C.
Wait, you're starting at G, right?
Yeah, starting at G. Yeah, G. A. B.
Good.
C.
Yeah. So you could be playing that while I'm doing this. You can hear how it's that, how that. So this is how I work with people. Well, what I do all the time too is if I'm going to add a second guitar part to what somebody else is doing, I'm going to use these shapes and play further up the neck just to have a little bit wider range of what the guitar is sounding like.
Okay.
And we use typically, without going too far into this for right now, but I'm just kind of knocking on this door for you. We generally use the E family and the A family, which are just at the really from where our bar chords are.
Yep.
And the E major family looks like this, shape looks like this, and the A major one looks like that.
Yep.
And then sometimes we use the D family as well, because in the D family I've got a D shape that
Right.
has all the three notes of it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, yeah. So, so anyway, why that's important and why it came up when we're talking about Harvest Moon, is you just found where we would play C out of the E family. Where was that? You might have to count it up again if you.
C out of the E family was the E family.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think it was here. It was 7, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not 7 though. That's 8. But you got it. 7 has a dot on it.
Oh,
No, you had it. You were right. Wait. Oh, we think of the fret that you're at. No, now you're at 7. That's not C. That's B. We think of the fret as where the bar would be. So we're talking about the fret that your first finger's at.
okay.
Because again, if you have the full bar here, that's where you'd be is at 8.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
right. Okay. I got yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, the full version of this chord would just have a full bar here, and
Yeah.
the other notes out of the E. You need the 5th and 4th strings. Right. Okay. So that's the full chord that we're talking about this reduction of.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Okay. So where would you take that for it to be D?
To be D, I take it to here.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So okay. Now what Neil Young does in this is he leaves the first string open. So get rid of the bar and put yeah. And then just hit the bass note first and then strum it.
So being
We need the D in the bass. Yeah, the low D.
low D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hear it?
Yeah.
Now what we have is a little melody that we have to add in with this that goes like this. I'm just going to play the melody. It's very simple. So the melody's going from the 10th fret here, hit that note,
Yeah.
to the 12th. And then now we need to the 9th fret of the first string. So that's the little 3-note melody you heard. Da 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 da. Okay.
Yeah.
So try that.
Okay. So it's. Nope.
Put those 2 fingers on. Put both fingers on though. Leave your second finger where it was, because you're going to strum. Put your second finger back on the 3rd string.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
Wait, you don't want your third finger on yet. Just two fingers. Yeah, that's the starting point.
And then back to here.
Right, and now you need the other two notes. You still need you have to rearrange your fingers to get the same two notes you had on. Not quite. What did they look like?
Well, they look like this.
That's it. Okay, perfect. And now put your first finger on. Yeah,
Oh,
you hear it now?
yeah.
Yeah.
Did I
Okay.
figure it that way from the start then?
Bingo. That was where we were going. Is that it makes a whole lot more sense to not start with these two fingers because you got to change them for the last chord. So you start with so you get used to landing with those two notes at the 10th and the yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
up. Right?
Yeah. That's the second one is two ups on that last chord, right? And you have time to hit another bass note right there. Yeah. That's it. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
there's a little bit more that happens in here. Actually, there's a few more things.
Okay.
But
Well, yeah.
you can take a look at the tab later. I mean, take a look at the tab. The chord progression is really easy, and so this is like the main little vamp though that you hear them, all the way through the song,
Right.
and the chords. He's never singing over this. It goes to an E minor 7, just like the G minor 7 that we were playing in Ohio,
Right.
where you just need two notes on the 6th and 5th strings. For
Okay.
E minor, yeah.
Oh.
Come a little bit closer. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Back to the E minor 7. That's okay. It's okay. It's like, but I'm just kind of giving you the rundown.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, so let me see what else happens after that, because there are a couple other chords, but they're all really easy. So that's the first part. Now, when you look at the tab, all that I have in the tab is 4 sets of that little thing. That's the intro. It's like 4 sets of that thing we were just looking at, the D stuff up the neck.
Right.
And then it's 4 measures of E minor 7 and 4 measures of D, doing that little fill. Except, and you can check my lesson for this. There's a little more complicated fill that he does the first couple times. It's a D chord. So there's a time when he goes to a D chord, but it's going to change to D major 7 quickly, which is just a 3-string bar up there.
Yeah.
So it's best to start this D down here like this, with the bar on your second finger,
Yeah.
and then it comes off just for 1 stroke. Then it moves to an A chord by moving the bar just 1 string over, right? And then adding these 2 fingers, your second finger on the 2nd string, and your 3rd finger on the 4th string, yeah, which gives us another D chord. This is like a D chord out of the C family.
Okay.
So in the tab, I've got different names for these fills. Like, anyway, this one I think is called fill 1 because that's what he does sometimes. So I think it's what he plays right in the beginning after the E minor. I'm a little do 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 do. And that, and you know, so that's, it sort of replaces this. So it's like a whole alternate thing to do on a D chord rather than what we just did up there.
Yeah. Okay.
Make sense so far?
Yep.
Okay. And then the only other chords, now it goes to a G chord, the same shape as the E minor 7, but up at the 5th fret. Because I'm still in love with you, I want to see you dance again. Or, and then there's an A7 sus. Oh, God, I just sang the wrong part. In love with you, I want to see you dance again. Do 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 do. Upon this harvest moon. Let's see if I did those right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So so that's what I mean. The three other chords in the song are real easy. It's E minor 7 played like this. Move it to the 5th fret, and it's just a G, but it includes an open E in it. So if you have an E and a G chord, what would we call it?
If we had a what?
It's a G chord with these two notes up here, but the E string is in there, the open E string. So what would that do to our E chord, our G chord?
Let's see. In G, E is 6,
Yeah.
and so make it a 6th.
Yeah, we just call it G6.
6. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
numbers in the name of chords, that's basically what they mean, is you got to have that note in there too. So that's a G6 chord.
Okay.
You know, and then I think did you catch the A7 sus4? That it's like A7 would be this,
Yeah.
right? And sus4 you'd raise the second string to there, yeah. And so you don't need your third finger on for this. Your ring finger shouldn't be on, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, because it starts on this chord, stays there for a couple measures,
Okay.
and then it resolves to A7. So you are going to put it down, but it just doesn't make sense to have all three fingers down when you start. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and that's pretty much the whole thing. So we got these three, other than D, three easy chords: the E minor 7, the E minor 7, the G6, the A7 sus4, and A7. And then these two fills, and I think in the tab I just noticed I just label them. Fill 1 is this, and fill 2 is this. That one's a little trickier on your hand, you know, but you can hear how that all fits in, I think, right?
All working out. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
okay, good. Mess with that.
Okay, I will.
Let me stop this. I had one more thing I was going to ask you about.